Okay, guys, so ready? Let's go. Are you answering my questions? Tick, 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 tick. Okay. Um, let's continue with the slides. Okay. So, how did Canada get started? The original French dialect for a few hundred years corrupt the proper English, um, and it has different kinds of English, the proper English. From it, like it comes from like there's also from the Aboriginal people, and from the Canadians. Okay, here's some fun facts about Canada. Ready? Let's go.
Sentence structure could use a little work.
Okay.
Grammarly helps you clean.
Not.
Ice hockey, maple syrup, poutine, Niagara Falls, and the Northern Lights. What country am I talking about? Canada. Oh, Canada is the second largest country in the world. It shares a border to the south and west with the United States of America. Canadians speak primarily English, but Canada also recognizes French as an official language, which is the mother tongue of around 7 million Canadians. Second to Paris, Montreal is the largest French-speaking city in the world. The total population is around 35 million. Canada is a very diverse country with one of the highest immigration rates in the world. Recently, most foreign-born Canadians came from China, the Philippines, and India. Canada happily welcomes all nationalities and cultures. Do you know what the capital of Canada is? Many people think it's Toronto or even Vancouver, but actually, it's neither. The capital of Canada is Ottawa, which is in the province of Ontario. Ontario shares a border with the United States.
Okay, so that's some fun facts about Canada. I'm gonna put my slide up on the site, and if you wanted to continue watching the YouTube video, I'm sure that if you have more interest in fun facts about Canada, you'd want to watch more. Um, the spelling. The spelling found in British English is combines with British and American rules. It's French derived that's with an OER or an ER, and it has British spelling, and Canadians and Americans spells nouns like tire and curb. And Canada uses English as the product of waves of of Britain and France. And the Aboriginal languages have worded together into a Canadian English vocabulary. And then there's lots of like different kinds of words that that they use. Like the American English uses like color, or the Canadian English uses color, or British is more similar to the Canadian English. If you like look at like the way that things are written and the difference, or curb and tire um, is more similar to the American English. Like there's some things that they kept um, that they copied from America, and that's like if you look at Mark's um, grades in English, you say that in American English, but in British English you say marks, and in Canadian English you also say marks, or or in Canadian English you say write an exam, and Canadian and American English is like with gasoline. So yeah, or American and Canadian English say an eraser, and British English says a rubber, And it gives like all the different examples on this wonderful table. And there's a lot more words, not just on this table. Okay. Okay, pronunciation. There's different ways of pronouncing English-speaking Canadians who live near, and French-speaking Canadians also pronounce things differently. For instance, like a boat or out with the OU sound. And we have a YouTube video that will show you the different kinds of pronunciations.
עד שהפס הצהוב יגיע אליי כבר יכולתם להגיש בקשה להלוואה מישראכרט ולקבל אישור מיידי. יוטיוב, יש פה בן אדם! Sure.
Hey, it's Maria, your Canadian English teacher, and I'm here today with one of our teachers from our English for Canada team from Ontario. This is Audra from Toronto.
Hey, I'm Audra. I'm one of the teachers at English for Canada, and I've been in Vancouver for about 1 year now, and we have some fun words to talk about today.
Yes, we're gonna get into 4 words that you can use in your everyday life and that you're probably gonna hear a lot. So word number 1 is one you're gonna learn probably at the gym, or you might use it when you go shopping at a sports store. Now, what would you call these?
In the UK, you might call them trainers. In the US, you might call them sneakers. But here in Canada, they're called runners.
So make sure you pronounce it correctly. It starts with an R, so you want to pronounce it runners. Hey Audra, where'd you get your runners from?
I have to head to the gym, so I'm gonna grab my runners.
Hey Audra, let's go shopping. The runners are on sale at Sports Check. Word number 2 is super useful because you're probably gonna ask for where to find it at the mall or when you go to someone's house.
You may have heard that some people, like those in the US, refer to it as the bathroom, and others, like those in the UK, refer to it as the loo. But here, most of us say the washroom.
Washroom it is. Here in Vancouver, many of us tend to say bathroom, but in Toronto, what do you guys say?
We usually say washroom.
There you have it, 2 Canadians, washroom versus bathroom. What do you say? Hey Audra, where's the washroom?
Oh my goodness, the washroom in this place is amazing. Have you seen it?
Is it clean? Word number 3 is a really Canadian word for a delicious beverage. Now, in the States, they would call it soda. In England, they actually call it fizzy drink. But in Canada, we call it pop. Pop. Hey Audra, what's your favorite pop?
Is it free refills for the pop?
Ooh, let's go ask. Word number 4 is not really a bad word, but it's a really common one to describe chaos and disorder and a really big mess. The word is
Gong show.
What if your day has been a total mess? You're running late for everything, the dishes are piling up, and you feel super behind on everything you've got to get done. Your day might be a gong show.
You know, at the beginning of COVID, when everyone was trying to figure out what they were going to do, that was pretty much a gong show.
A big one. And here's your bonus word. It's a word you're going to use in your everyday life at home, and it's a piece of household furniture.
In the US, they might say a sofa. And in the UK, they'll say an essie. Back in the day in Canada, we used to call it a Chesterfield, but now we just call it a couch.
A couch is way more common. You probably won't hear people say Chesterfield anymore. I don't think I've ever actually used it. Have you used
No.
Chesterfield before? So in Canada, call it a couch. Now, if you want to sound more Canadian, learning how to say Canadian words properly and learning Canadian expressions will make your life a lot easier and you'll have a lot of fun. Join us for our general English classes. You can join me or Audra or one of the many.
Okay, so that's like our video. If you want to join their classes and learn the pronunciation of things. And then I've just posted some special Canadian words online. For instance, like chocolate bar is called candy bar, or brown bread is wheat bread. A knitted cap is called beanies. Runners are called sneakers. A house coat is called robe. A freezies is a pop freeze. A survey is a napkin. Icing sugars is a powdered thing. A fire hall is a fire station. Just like different words. Canadian vocabulary is shared from two different dialects of mostly British and American. Some words are also found in like holiday or vacation. Also, there's some words because French is a very strong part of the dialect too. So there's also things like a servette is a Canadian is a French word, or kayak, or moose or skunk or raccoon or squash also comes from like Alcuinan words. And there's also some royal words found in Western Canadians, where like cabin they'll call it a cottage, or Quebec they'll call it a chalet.
Mommy, can you make cookies?
Yeah, in a little bit. Units of measurement is found in metric units. And you could say highway speeds and different fuels of consumptions, but many Canadians use imperial units such as pounds and feet and measurements too. So like they use both the U.S. and the European way. And then I put up how to measure like a Canadian. Education, like colleges for vocational schools, university.
Cookies.
Of course.
And and should it have chocolate chips or chocolates? How about chocolate?
Okay.
No, actually, you do have something for chocolate?
I'll do it in a few minutes. Okay. And then Canadian English is on grade level. Okay. Next is the Canada culture, which is known as, it's like a just society, and it's very individualistic, and it's mostly about like planning tolerance and respect and about having lots of love. And the UN calls them peacemakers because they're very generally polite and they want to get along with everyone. And if you ever go to Canada, their culture is much more polite and much nicer than us Americans. And Canada has a bicultural acceptance. They really try to accept everyone, try to include everyone. There's lots of different immigration from other countries. 1/5 of the country is from people from outside. And if you want to send money from overseas, it's cost effective, easy, and fast. And they have lots of loyalty points. And here's my references. God bless Canada. If you have any other questions, please ask. Feel free to ask. Thank you. Hi everyone, welcome to my slides of Canada. I'm from New Jersey, which is very close to Canada. I could just hop into the car and when I grew up and just drive right on up to Canada. My grandparents lived in Rochester, New York, which was like next to the border of Rochester and Toronto. And I used to go to the Niagara Falls a lot as a kid. But what I wanted to share with you, I just shared with you a piece of my experiences of Canada, is just how Canada's right there, but it is so different from where I grew up and how I grew up. And what I'm going to show you at first is Canada. Aye, matey. Like the Canadian English is closer to British English. So what I wanted to show you first is that I started off with a mini meter, which is kind of like a survey. I I really enjoyed doing Minimeter when I was teaching in high school last year. It's a great way to like just ask questions, just say like, "Hey guys, like what's up? Like let's ask a question. Let's bring up some ideas. Let's think of things." So the questions that I have, you can do it like as a multiple choice questions or short answer questions. Um, um, so the choices that I chose is like, what are some words that are pronounced differently in Canada? Okay, and then I have people like answer the questions. Um, you could either do it through the computer or you could do it through through the phone, and the kids could pull it up to the barcode. But I like doing this also as like it's a good pre-reading activity. And my next question is, why is Canada different from America? So let's answer some questions for me. One, what are some words that are pronounced differently in Canada? And two, why is Canada different from America?